All right, here we go. Final day of the month of November. I'm meteorologist Matthew East along with you. A whole lot of ground to cover in the latest edition of the video. Major pattern change next week. I'll talk about that in detail a little bit later on in the video. But first of all, let's talk about what's happening in the shorter term. There's a look from our Greensboro Tower camera early this morning. It is another clear, quiet, rather chilly start to our day. Dowd YMCA camera in Charlotte, much the same. And as a cold front approaches, we will eventually have some clouds and maybe a few showers by this evening. More on that in just a second. There's your temperatures as I speak, which again, this is during the 5 a.m. hour. 30s and 40s in most spots across the region. A few 20s mixed in here and there. All right, there's the radar. Still quiet over the Carolinas for the time being, but off to the west of us, have some showers in Illinois and Indiana, down into Kentucky, Tennessee, and Mississippi, and then from there down into Louisiana. That is all ahead of our next cold front, which is pretty quickly moving eastward and in our direction. Ahead of it, you have this bubble of warmer air still in place. Had a really warm day yesterday. A lot of 70s on the board for highs across the Carolinas yesterday, and still another pretty mild weather setup today. Not quite as warm as yesterday in many spots, but still, by late November standards, it'll be a warm one. So today, by the afternoon, late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, could see a few showers in the mountains. I think east of the mountains in the Piedmont, some clouds increasing late this afternoon, and then there's the front working through tonight. So for the Interstate 85 corridor, we'll say maybe 8 p.m. to midnight or 1 a.m. That's your main window of opportunity to pick up a few brief showers before that front clears through. But this will not be a big rain event. There's the European model. Some pretty underwhelming rain totals around the region, and Futurecast continues to be really even less impressed once you get east of the mountains. So this does not look like a big rain event. In fact, it looks like most folks east of the mountains are going to be lucky to even have any measurable rain at all. But there'll be a few showers out there nonetheless. There's your highs this afternoon. Pretty mild day out there once again. Behind the front tomorrow, some showers clear off the coast early in the day, and then we're looking in, generally speaking, at a good deal of sunshine over most of North Carolina. There's our Friday high temperatures for the first day of December. And then we get to Saturday, this low pressure pretty weak and well suppressed off to the south. So here's the European model, maybe some showers into South Carolina and southernmost North Carolina. I think for most of North Carolina, just a period of some clouds on Saturday that should still be enough to hold our temperatures down a bit. I'm still sticking with the idea of some 50s for highs on Saturday afternoon, but then back up into the 60s for Sunday. A lot of detailed modeling I'll show you in just a second, but big pattern change next week. This is Monday. Pretty mild setup early next week, but big trough moves into the eastern part of the country by mid and late week. And it looks like this will then be a pattern that has some staying power at least through the middle part of December. Again, more on that in just a second. But here's the surface temperatures off the European model. Probably some sub-zero air by, say, at least Thursday morning of next week in the Midwestern states, and that next shot of cold air continues to work southward. Take this with a grain of salt, these specifics, but that's some cold stuff in here by next Friday or Saturday in the Carolinas. More on that in just a second. Last official day of Atlantic hurricane season. It is quiet. No issues across the Atlantic basin. All right, let me get to the more detailed modeling here. All right, so here's the deal. As we get into early next week, we see, well, let's see if I've stuck the first chart in here. Yeah, here we go. All right, this is the 500 millibar deviations from normal. So we start off seeing this ridge in western North America go up around Monday. Thereafter, look at that. This is out at Friday morning of next week. Ridge all the way up, all of North America kind of joining over top with some ridging from the Atlantic, and that is a cold pattern in the eastern part of the country. And again, we go all the way out to the end of this morning's European model ensemble mean, and this is all the way out at the evening of December 14th, and the same basic pattern is locked into place. So you look at 5,000 foot deviations from normal. Again, this is the European ensemble mean, courtesy of Weatherbell. This is Friday of next week. Boy, that's some cold air. And then all the way out to the end of the 14th of December. That is a really cold signal still for the eastern part of the country. And if you're wondering if the Canadian agrees, yep, that's all the way out to the 15th of December on the Canadian. That's a cold pattern in the eastern part of the country. And so we take a look at the hemispheric view. This is the operational run of the GFS. This is all the way out at the 14th of December. You have the coldest there in North America, in the northern hemisphere, rather, in two spots. One right into North America, the other over there in the eastern parts of Asia. But that's some really cold air. In fact, maybe the coldest by geographic area and expanse in our side of the globe. So what does that mean? I think as we get toward later next week, the cold pattern moves in, and again, it could likely have some staying power for quite a while. And if you're wondering about snow, already getting notes from the snow fans, wondering what the deal is, this is the pattern, I think, that as we get toward late next week and into mid-December, that could yield some fun and games. All you need is a scenario kind of like this. This is the Canadian, Wednesday of next week. Instead of it being just a clean frontal passage, it kind of lingers and you get some waves of low pressure along the front. So this is Thursday of next week, and you get some of the moisture interacting with the cold air, and it's going to be one of those deals where, hey, the first ingredient's getting the cold air in place if you want some snow. And so we definitely look to be heading into a cold pattern. Then we'll see if we can reel in a storm system for you snow fans down the road. All right, that is it for the latest edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks so much for watching. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.